Welcome, and the Heartbreakers, to Geek Salad, episode 174, Side B. We didn't start the Batdance. Sorry. We're continuing from last week's
Joe off
episode. I know, that was the point. Get busted. We're continuing from last week's Side A, where we discussed the singles of 1989, and now we're going to move on to the album side. This is kind of a yearly tradition because these shows run so goddamn long.
Yeah, you can always tell when we intend to do a two-parter because we actually do it.
We actually sign off, and I don't have to do the record scratch like, oh, we ran long. And then we usually use a Simpsons thing afterwards because that's how that works.
No!
Yep. Alright, so we're on to albums now. So anybody who wants to start off with one of your 5 favorite albums released in 1989?
Alright, I'll kick it off.
Alright, Katherine.
With Madonna's Like a Prayer.
Excellent. Now we alluded to this on the last installment of the episode. Go ahead.
All right. So I listened to this because I do still own the CD, which I bought. Oh goodness knows, in college, I think. So, Like a Prayer, we discussed a bit at length before. Express Yourself, we were kind of brief about, and I'd like to talk about that one a little bit because when I was, I popped the CD and I'm driving to work and listening to it, and Express Yourself comes on, and I'm like, yeah, I understand why Weird Al made fun of it and brought it up and performed this way.
Right.
Because they definitely stole the guitar riffs and stuff from this.
Yeah.
For Born This Way. But other than that, it's good. Cherish is really good.
Yeah, Cherish isn't a bad song.
Cherish isn't a bad song. Spanish Eyes is okay.
Okay.
My favorite is the last track, or not my absolute favorite. Obviously, I like Express Yourself. Express Yourself actually really holds up very well in this Me Too era. So I would, listen to it again and be like, oh, yeah. But Active Contrition is the last track on this album.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
Okay, it's definitely a last track thing.
Okay, so it's super long.
It's not very long, actually.
Yep.
But it's really interesting. They got some of the vocals from Like a Prayer.
Yep.
Like, they might have done it with some of the outtakes, and she's, just doing the act of contrition and kind of reciting it, kind of singing it. And then she starts saying, I have a reservation. I have a reservation. What do you mean it's not in the computer? And it's just
So mad.
It is the weirdest comedy bit at the end of this album, and it is so funny.
Oh, Madonna.
Did they have computers in the 80s?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They were terrible.
Yeah.
They were all like these big NEC computers with the blue screens and...
Ours was green. Actually, we did have a color screen at home on our Apple II Plus.
Ooh.
But most of them had just a pure green monitor.
Well, excuse us, Your Highness.
Yeah.
Well, my stepfather worked at Honeywell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have it anymore by '89. He was long.
Class of 92, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we had the Vaxes at school, and you could take the cover off of the monitor and stuff your scrap paper in it and put the lid back down. Yeah. One of them I did that. I wrote garbage in, garbage out, and stuck it inside the monitor.
Yep.
I remember, I mean, like, I had alluded to this before, but this is like Madonna's last good album before Ray of Light.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well.
All right. You said there's something, like, for the next year?
Yeah.
All right. Now, that's not the best of, right?
No.
Okay. I don't know, because after that, it was like she did the Virgin tour, whatever the tour was, which I remember, like, you could get, like, opera glasses for it. It was, like, the most expensive tour of that time.
Right.
Second only to one that we'll talk about later, Joe. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of her stuff at that point, she was just kind of self-parodying until Ray of Light came out.
Yeah, Real Life was kind of like considered like her comeback album.
Yeah, she was changing sound a lot.
I had a lot of friends who were super into Madonna in college too. So
I did like Ray of Light, and that was around the time that Sex came out, right?
No, Ray of Light was well after Sex.
Okay,
Sex came out after Justify My Love.
Yeah, somebody brought it to class in school, in college, but yeah, we'll talk about all these things when they come up in a few years.
Gotcha. All right,
and that other album that came out before Ray of Light that I liked next year.
All right.
Yep.
My first choice was Eric Clapton, Journeyman.
Shocker!
No shit.
Whoa.
You're doing an Eric Clapton album? Get out of town.
Fuck you say.
Fuck you all.
So what makes this one different than all the other Eric Clapton albums from the 80s, Joe?
Well, one, it was his number one, his best-selling album. It was his first album ever to earn him a Grammy Award.
Yeah.
For best vocal.
Yeah, I remember that.
Best male vocal. And this was like the culmination of his renaissance that started with the Live Aid performance in 1985. This was like his best-selling album.
Until Unplugged.
Until Unplugged. Well, I think that was more because of the emotional, what happened to his son.
Yeah.
But, like, I love Pretending. Pretending is, like, one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And any Clapton fan, you go to his concert, this album contributes a lot of, like, what's considered now classic album.
Yeah.
Oh, classic Clapton tracks. Like, Old Love is an awesome love, like, torch song when he plays it live. Bad Love is another one that's a staple. And just it's like you know how I mentioned in the last show that what was the song that Rod Stewart was kind of trying to hitch his ride to the classic rock renaissance. Well, this album was a big part of that. You know, it's like I said, 1989 was a transitional year, and classic rock made a big comeback in 1989.
It made a huge
comeback, like adult contemporary classic rock.
Well, a lot of that I think had to do with the fact that a lot of adults were tired of hair metal dominating, rock radio.
Right.
And, again, this kind of comes in, falls in.
And I know you say this sounds like a lot of Eric Clapton. It really doesn't. Eric Clapton changed his tone and his sound after 85 with the
But there's an 80s sound to Clapton, though. Like, I think that,
If his, Another Ticket, Money and Cigarettes, and Behind the Sun have a certain sound to them. It's like a carryover from his 70s sound. After Live Aid, when he got a new guitar with August and Journeyman, his tone and his sound really changed a lot. Okay. And, I mean, and again, you might be associating it because Journeyman was his most famous or his biggest album of the 80s.
Right.
And that's the sound that he carried through the 90s.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Right.
So, Mike, what do you got?
I got Loped After Dark by Tone Loc.
Oh, cool and at a bar, and I'm looking for some action. But like Mick Jagger said, I can't get no satisfaction. The girls are all around, but none of them want to get with me. My threads are fresh and I'm looking deaf. Yo, what's up, what LOC? The girls was all jocking at the other end of the bar, having drinks with some no-name chump when they know that I'm the star. So I got up and strolled over to the other side of the cantina. I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, Funky Cole Medina. Funky Cole Medina.
If you hadn't taken this was going to be on my husband's list.
Loped After Dark with his 2 hits.
Yeah, well, 3, technically.
What is a 3rd hit?
I Got It Going On.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember
Yeah,
either.
it's not a bad song, but it's not as good as Wild Thing or Funky Cold Medina.
Okay. You know what's funny about Loped After Dark is that Tone Loc released a best of that was actually called Wild Thing, Funky Cold Medina, and Other Greatest Hits. It's like, why don't you just buy Loped After Dark?
But I mean,
it's like the Color Me Bad best
dude,
of.
This guy's got the best bass voice since Barry White.
He does. His voice is very distinct and very interesting. I can understand why he wasn't a bigger thing after this.
No, I buy that. But this is actually, this is a solid album though, and Wild Thing I love, but Funky Cold Medina is easily my favorite track on it.
Funky Cold Medina is a better song, I think, than Wild Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Wild Thing is that, first of all, you know where the sample is, right?
No.
It's Janie's Crying from Van Halen.
Okay, I just remember Isle Thing from Weird Al Yankovic.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gilligan's Isle Thing.
The first riff of Funky Cold Medina, you know it's Jamie's Crying. Was it Funky Medina?
No, Wild Thing is Jamie's Crying.
Yeah.
Dan.
You the first 4 bars, you knew it right away. Oh, this is Jamie's Crying.
The thing also about Wild Thing is that it was, I think, per capita, the most quoted song in my... No, it wasn't the most quoted song. It was the most distinctive senior quote in my high school yearbook. Because somebody actually used it. I will go name redacted here. His senior quote, words of wisdom to leave for the ages, is that's what happens when bodies start slapping by doing the wild thing.
Oh, good God, no.
Yes. He was on the football team.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I have the yearbook, yes.
So do
I have that yearbook, too, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yep, that's words of wisdom.
Pearls of wisdom!
Yeah, I have no idea who you're talking about.
I'm sorry to hijack the Loped After Dark. Go ahead, Mike.
That was pretty much all I had to say.
Okay.
Well, you know what? No, but kind of Tone Loc kind of brought hip hop and rap into the mainstream just because it was so controversial. The album was so controversial.
Ah,
but the songs caught on though.
You're right. No, it's when you have white boys in acting.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I am whiter than white, and I'm not a big rap fan, but I do like this album a lot.
Yeah, and this was very accessible. And that's the thing with, I think, late 80s rap, is that it was incredibly accessible to suburban white kids.
Yeah.
And then, they met their Antichrist in Vanilla Ice a year later, but, that's another tale for another time.
This is also the year that Paul's Boutique came out from Beastie Boys.
That's true.
That's right.
God, you forget how good of an album that is, and none of us put it in there, did we?
Because it was on my husband's list.
Oh. Okay, well, let's just talk quickly about that, because this show will also go long.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul's Boutique is a very interesting album, because all of my knowledge about the Beastie Boys at that point was You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party.
Right.
So essentially they were the metal rap band.
Yeah. And a lot of their good, the stuff that I generally know is mostly on the License to Ill album.
Right.
But there is some good stuff on this album.
Yeah. What's the big hit from this one, or the big single?
Let me look it up.
All right. Go ahead and do
I'll
that.
get back to you.
Why don't you do that? I'm going to read off some of Steve's album choice here, because one of them ties into mine. Where the hell did it go? Okay. Steve writes, I love Rush beyond words. Meeting Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson is one of the best days of my life. But Presto is still in my probably never going to listen to these again CD wallet.
How could you not like Presto?
I don't know. Presto was a return to form, but it wasn't a great... It was a watershed for Rush, because they're like, you know what? Maybe we should stop with the synthesizers for a bit.
Yes!
I remember them talking about that, too, when they Beyond the Lighted Stage documentary.
Oh, really?
It's like, we had to go back to something like... Neil Peart actually went to, back to drum school. And was like, I'm going to do something different this time. Did you find it?
Eggman was one of the big ones after that. And Hey Ladies.
Hey Ladies! Get funky. Cowbell, cowbell, cowbell.
Hey Ladies! It's
Awesome.
fun. High Plains Drifter's also good.
Who knew three Jewish guys were going to be the biggest, the most influential rap bands of all time? Music industry is so racist. Alright, so Steve also brings up one that ties into one of my picks here. Okay, Running Down a Dream is the only song on my road trip, workout, and crying while drunk and regretting my life decisions playlist. That came from the album Full Moon Fever by Tom Petty, which, yes, is a solo album.
I felt so good, like anything was possible. Hit cruise control and rub my eyes. The last 3 days, and the rain was unstoppable. It was always cold, no sunshine. Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream.
It's actually Tom Petty. It's not Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Really?
Yeah, this was during the Traveling Wilbury days.
I like Traveling
And he picked his friends well.
Yes,
this is
he
produced
did.
by Jeff Lynne.
Oh.
So you know it's good. Honestly,
Well, whatever you say about ELO as a band,
I love ELO. You
Jeff
shut
Lynne.
your fucking
No, I
mouth
like-
about
no.
ELO.
Fuck you, I like ELO too. But whatever you say of ELO as a band, Jeff Lynne is a superb producer.
He is an amazing producer. This album, I'm pulling up the track list right now, is just... I went back and I listened to this one. So many great songs on there. I mean, Free Fallin'. I mean, who had that on their singles list? Joe.
I love Free Fallin'.
Dude, Free Falling is a great song.
is a
This
great
was...
song.
When Tom Petty died, this is the first one that popped up on every playlist.
Not in the stations I listen to, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was some different Tom Petty was... Yeah, my brother and his friends were in the back of the school bus with their arms in the air, waving back and forth, going free fall. And I told him I was going to tell his grandchildren about that, and he said, "You won't remember."
Oh, you're reliving it right now.
Yeah, I was like, well, the minute you say that, you just dared me, and I will remember.
One day, I'm going to be co-host of a podcast, and, I don't even know what that is, but it's going to be in the internet forever.
Yeah, well, this is what I have to do because he's not going to have grandkids, so.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So you got Free Fallin', I Won't Back Down, which is the lead single.
Such a good song.
That was great, too, because it was essentially, it's a Traveling Wilbury song with Ringo Starr doing the drums.
Yep.
And that's a fantastic song. Love's the Long Road, Facing the Crowd, Running Down a Dream.
Yeah, that's
how do you not love that guitar?
That was the one that was playing on my radio station until Tom Petty died.
Oh my god, I remember what a great. Actually,
and I remember you remember the video for that too?
Yeah, the cartoon.
Yes.
Oh man, that was awesome.
That was so such a psychedelic cartoon.
Actually, friend of the show, writer Jax, sang in a band called Singer Bad Dancer, and this was one of their songs. This is one of the songs that they played, and it was fantastic. They had their guitar player did a really good job with it. She sang the hell out of this song.
Nice.
That is such a hard riff to get right.
Oh, it is.
It is so hard.
You're So Bad, which is kind of like the least of a great album, and it's still a great song.
Yeah.
All Right for Now. There's a lot of great stuff on here, and for Tom Petty, it was really it was nice to see him being able to collaborate with other people.
Yeah.
Because I think this was after the Petty and Dylan tour and the Wilburys.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, he'd been a busy boy. So he will be missed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he will.
All right, Katherine, I believe you were up next.
Yes.
All right. And the next one I have is Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation. Which awesome. I think I'm the only person in the room that's actually seen the movie.
You probably have. Was it like that long form video?
It was like most of the album, and there was a dialogue, and there was but I can't a friend of mine had it. I got to watch it. It was very neat. I liked it better than Moonwalker.
That's not hard though.
Yeah, but it was it's a high concept. Horrible future, I'm definitely big on the post-apocalyptic thing, and trying to come out of it and stuff. And there's the part of the song of Rhythm Nation is at the end, and they say no, it actually keeps going, and there's a whole extended dance sequence and everything, and I cannot find it on the internet.
Ugh.
Somebody who
fails us, internet.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of thing that definitely belongs on the internet. I can find Garfield's 9 Live on YouTube.
You can find Garfield without Garfield on the internet. I mean,
you can the TV production of Once Upon a Mattress is on YouTube. Why the hell isn't Rhythm Nation on YouTube? Somebody on the internet fix this.
Yeah, I'm going back to, because we talked about the song earlier in the last episode. The Rhythm Nation song, the drums in that song, just that repetition in the drum beat, which was very. That was a staple of late 80s, early 90s hip-hop. And it just works so well in that. It's just, constant throughout the entire song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if, like, having seen the movie, it brings even more meaning to the song Rhythm Nation than there is in just the album and the song.
She's a hell of a dancer in that video, too.
Well, she's a hell of a dancer in general.
Period, yes.
Well, that's the thing, is that Paula Abdul and she worked together a lot.
Yeah.
Right. I seem to remember that the song Black Cat was, the guitar was done by Nuno Bettencourt of Extreme fame.
Okay.
Hometown hero where I come from, so...
Is he from Hudson?
Yep.
Really?
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He used to come into my video store all the time. I have boring stories about him. Not literally, they're boring. I'm not even trying to, like, downplay anything. It was like, yep, great. Got the best new release. Enjoy, buddy. Joe, you're up next.
My next pick is Nick of Time by Bonnie Raitt.
Not a bad album. I believe this was album of the year.
It was album of the year. It won several Grammy Awards for that year. There was it won 3 Grammy Awards. Topped the Billboard 200. I mean, it's a best-selling album.
Right.
And again, it's part of that adult contemporary classic rock renaissance.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And at the time, you know, after listening to like Clapton and stuff like that, I was like searching out for other guitar heroes.
Right.
You know, and she was like...
this is her private dancer, essentially.
Yes.
This
is her peak. This is her peak. This is her...
This was her getting off of booze.
Yes.
And putting out this album.
And I think you'll find that a couple of my other choices is just kind of the same thing, too. Is like, you're seeing these artists kind of like kick bad habits.
Yep.
This is their big comeback albums and their big comebacks and stuff like that. So.
And this one doesn't end in tragedy. So
no, it does not.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs that I really enjoy, like Have a Heart, is
Yeah.
a really sweet song. I really like it. You know, it's a nice little love song.
Well, the big tune out of this one was Something to Talk About.
Yes.
Yeah, which, you know, lent itself oh so well to crappy mid-90s rom-coms.
Yes, they did. Yes, it did.
Starring Kara Sedgwick.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Yep. I've never owned this album, but I've never, I would never change the channel if it came out. Yeah, this is a fine song.
It's a you won't throw it out of bed of albums.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, you're up.
Yep. We're going from rap to country.
Oh, yes, 1989, when country music was unleashed on an unsuspecting boy, and he didn't realize that 30 years later he'd have to
explain himself.
About it. Yep.
And we're going to start off with the debut album of the guy that really got me into country music, Garth Brooks.
All the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance.
Oh my god.
Oh, Mike.
Honestly, all right. I have never listened to a single song on this album, so I'm going to reserve all judgment. I will say my familiarity with Garth Brooks came in 91. 91, freshman year of college.
Yes.
So, at that point, you and I were in college at the same time.
No,
so.
because you're.
I'm a year older. I took a year off.
Oh, so yeah.
I may as well be a year younger.
Yeah, 91, 92 when Low Places.
Yep. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Now, went to a military school.
Low Places was one of the songs that kind of cemented Garth Brooks'
legacy.
His, but the very first song that really cemented that was the last song on this album, "The Dance."
Okay.
This is a fantastic. It's a very slow song, but it's basically about since it's country, there's a story behind every song.
Right.
And this one is just like if you had it all to do again, would you do it all, or would you
do it
try to
differently?
change? Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the video for this one is just really powerful, but the song itself is just it is.
You know what? I mean, you can't deny that Garth Brooks was a huge crossover success.
He was. Garth Brooks, I think, innovated it's country music, which essentially is rock with the fiddle.
Yeah.
It's why I got into country is because he bridged the gap for me. Like straight up country, I'm not a big fan. Like bluegrass, I'm not a fan of. But this stuff, this is like it's country, but it's country with like a pop rock sensibility.
Yeah, it's rock country.
Yes, right. and that's
and really, he kind of set the path for a lot of similar acts to follow. Like I don't know any
lots.
Yeah.
Lots,
just lots of.
I mean, WCL, WVBF got turned into WCL around this time.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't until long after that you started seeing pickup trucks with Confederate flags in Massachusetts, of all places. After
my God! Then don't let me tell you about the dude in front of the gun shop in Leominster, Massachusetts, wearing a Confederate hoodie.
Yeah.
But
thank you, Garth.
Don't blame him for this, all right? There are really 3 songs off this one that there were 4 songs, but there are 3 that I really got. It is like If Tomorrow Never Comes, Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old, and The Dance.
Okay,
but The Dance is easily his best song off this album.
Okay, because I went to a Southern college.
Well, that's your own fault.
Well, it's
a long story.
It's long.
I went to school.
It's not the prom story that we're waiting for.
You know what? I went to school in Vermont, which is kind of like Alabama.
Okay, you got to wait at least 2 more albums for that one. So, all right. So I'm up next.
Yes, you
are.
All right.
I struggled for one of these slots, and it was like I had one, and then Catherine's like, "Hey, can I take that one?" And I was like, "Sure." I have an honorable mention. So, and I'm going to kind of cheat here, but I'm going to go the same type of cheating that Joe did last year with, all of his B-sides live albums and best-ofs that he picked last year.
Hey! 88 wasn't a good year for me, alright?
Okay, so I'm going with Depeche Mode 101, which is a double live album. And we talk about if an album is overproduced or underproduced. For a band that is essentially a synth-pop band, this is possibly the most underproduced synth-pop band live album you'll ever listen to. Because they with Rush makes all of their songs sound like the album cuts.
Right. Yes.
Depeche Mode doesn't. You can tell you're listening to a live version that's more than just listening to the crowd in the background. Mm-hmm. They do a really good job of kind of deviating away from the album version of it just to give it a little something special. There are so many good songs on this album. Oh my god, there are so many good songs on this album. I mean, again, they're all older songs, but you got Behind the Wheel, Blasphemous Rumors, Stripped, which is one of my all-time favorite Depeche Mode songs, Black Celebration, Shake the Disease, People Are People, which is kind of like the biggest hit that they were known for at that time, Question of Lust, Master and Servant, Just Can't Get Enough, Everything Counts. These are all fantastic songs, and they're played in front of a really, really game audience.
Yeah.
Like, the audience, I didn't realize how big Depeche Mode was at the time before Violator came out, when we talked about Personal Jesus on the last installment.
Right.
I didn't realize how big they were, because I had only known them for People Are People. And when I got this album, I'm like, wow, yeah, I can see it. I can see that if I were a couple of years older, I would have been, like, knee-deep in Depeche Mode prior to this album. But this is, if you've never listened to Depeche Mode before, if you've got somebody who's like, you got to listen to Depeche Mode, this is the album you want to listen to first. Mm-hmm. Because it's a great introduction to early Depeche Mode before they switched more over to the guitar, more over to the overproduced stuff. Yeah. So definitely check that one out. Katherine, you're up.
All right.
Oh my god. All right.
All right, excuse me. So, this album was released in 89.
Yep.
And it was a gift to me by my friends when I went to college in 92. And it was definitely a good icebreaker on the hallway as I unpacked while listening to it. This is Monty Python's Sing.
Yes! yes, 1,000 times yes.
Unlike most Monty Python albums, there's no skits on this at all. It is all songs.
I want 2, 3, 4.
Half a bee, philosophically, must ipso facto half not be. But half the bee has got to be vis-a-vis its entity. Do you see? But can a bee be said to be or not to be an entire bee when half the bee is not a bee due to some ancient injury? Singing. La-dee-dee, 1, 2, 3, Eric the half a bee. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Eric the half a bee. Is this a wretched demi-bee, half asleep upon my knee? Some freak from a menagerie? No, it's Eric the half a bee.
I love this album.
Yes, I do.
Oh my god, there are so many great songs on this album.
Yeah, I was listening to this on the way over, and Eric the Half-a-Bee came on just as I was getting here.
I just bought this album last week, actually. Well, digital, anyway.
We've had this album for years.
This is the copy that I was given in college. I still
really?
have it.
So this is the original? Wow.
This is my... I was digging around looking for things that I had on my shelf from 89. And
I also want to point out, too, just speaking of Monty Python, an album's released in 89, the final ripoff was released in 89.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the Skits album.
Yep.
And that one's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've always got a soft spot for the Money song.
Oh, yeah. And they Accountancy Shanty is right after that one on the album.
The Medical Love Song is one of my favorite because it gets so gross.
Well, you know what?
I always lose my mind when I hear the term snail tracks.
But just because I'm such
as a venereal disease.
But just because I'm such an immature twit.
Yeah.
Sit on my face is my like.
Oh yeah.
You know. I can't help it. It's just like sit on my face and tell me.
Oliver Cromwell is such a weird song.
I love.
Oh come on.
That's good.
Every time we when we went to London. Every time we saw a picture of Charles I, the most interesting thing about Charles I
I put 2 legs from my hips to the ground when they walk around.
Isn't it awfully nice to have a penis? Isn't it frankly good to have dong? I saw Eric Idle live, lovingly ripping off the songs of Monty Python. And he did that one at the Wang Center.
I bet you he made mention of that.
Oh, he did. Yes, it's hilarious. Finland, which actually ends up in Spamalot.
Yep.
God.
Every sperm is sacred. Which
that is.
There's a story that will not be told, but
there was a guy in my hall. Like I mentioned, it was an icebreaker. There was a guy in my hall who was also a freshman, my freshman year of college, who loved Monty Python. He's like, "So you're going to be friends with me?" And he had what's the movie that Every Sperm is Sacred is from? He had that
Meaning of Life.
Meaning of Life.
Yeah, we all watched Meaning of Life, which I've not watched a lot of Monty Python and wasn't very familiar. And then I got the CD because my brother and I once turned on Monty Python's Flying Circus, and there were no elephants, there were no clowns, and we turned it off.
My second favorite Python movie.
I do. What's that song that Graham Chapman sings? Heaven.
oh, Christmas in Heaven.
Christmas in
I
Heaven.
love because he just has that smarmy American accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Galaxy song, also from Meaning of Life, with Eric. I love Eric Idle just really tweaking the accent.
Yep.
Oh,
At 100 million miles an hour.
well, like obviously his most famous tweaking of the accent. Always look on the bright side of life.
Yep.
Which is the first track on this album.
Right. Oh my God, there's just so much great stuff on here.
Yeah,
This I think out of all of the albums that we've got, this is the only one that every
all of
single
us
song
agree on. Yeah.
is so good.
It is.
Never
Yeah.
be
It's
rude to
very
an
good.
Arab.
I was playing when I pulled into the gas station.
Oh, so racist.
Never
It's
make
so
fun of an Irishman. All right. Next up.
All right, my next one, shocking, surprise, is In Step by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble.
Remember we were talking earlier about validation albums?
This
is the one that ends tragically.
No, it was actually the
It was a year later.
It was the
Oh,
one.
did they put out an album out the next
No,
year?
he and his brother put out an album the year.
That's right. You know what? All right. Yep. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
But this is one of those things. He kicked alcohol. He kicked drugs.
Yep.
This was his first true mainstream success. You know, he was no longer a footnote in David Bowie's discography. Okay?
Yeah.
And just, again, it's one of those things where, being interested in the guitar, I wanted to soak up as much guitar music and guitar history as I wanted to, and this was on the path. It just come out. The House is Rockin' is just such a fun song. It's like your typical hard rock, blues rock song.
This is when they had a heavy rotation on BCN back in the day.
It's and it's also good. It's got good blues standards.
Yeah,
like "Let Me Love You, Baby" is an awesome Willie Dixon song. I love the way he plays that. "Leave My Girl Alone," and even his instrumental. The instrumental at the end, I love "Riviera Paradise." It's just
nice.
It's got very kind of tropical, almost Jimmy Buffett quality to it.
He was an incredibly versatile player for someone who specialized in blues guitar.
He's incredibly versatile. He's the only player I know that could pull off a Jimi Hendrix riff and just sound exactly like him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan is considered one of the greatest guys.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So, all right, Mike.
Well, actually, we talked about most of these songs already, but going from rap to country to rock pop, Richard Marx, repeat offender.
Wait for the sun to shine. I still feel you next to me. Your lips on mine.
What songs haven't we talked about, Mike?
No, right here.
Half this fucking album went on to chart at number 1. So,
Angelia.
Okay,
it's not a bad song. Nothing You Can Do About It. Also a good song. Children of the Night. It's all right. Not bad. Yeah. But honestly, most of the songs, most of the really popular songs.
The thing with Richard Marx is that for as kind of cheesy as he's considered being, like not to the level of Kenny G cheesy.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I don't actually have a problem with any of his music. I don't think I had a problem with his music back when I was a cynical asshole in college.
I mean, you may say his songs are like kind of schmaltzy and like soft, whatever, but they're still good songs. And he's a good, he's got a good vocal range. He was
a songwriter before he was a singer.
Yeah.
So I think he's done a good job with that.
Yeah.
All right. Am I up?
Yeah, you are.
All right. Okay, I'm going to start this with a story. All right?
Is this the story?
All right. Is this
all
right?
Is this the one we were teasing?
December 24th of this year, Christmas Eve, I posted a thing on Facebook that says, "We told Jamie to drink his eggnog slowly. He's downing it like he's marrying Ravenwood at closing time in Nepal." Steve Day responds back to that saying, "This is the most you thing you have ever said." Wrong! This is the most me thing I have ever said.
Or will ever say.
I lost my virginity listening to The Cure's Disintegration.
You did not.
I did.
Oh, Andy.
Yes. The Cure's Disintegration, an album that a friend of the show, Dave McLean, who wrote the book Time Traveler's Resort and Museum, pretty much said that, to quote the great poet Eric Cartman, Disintegration is the best album ever.
I'm not going to lie, there's so many pieces of your puzzle that have just fallen into place for me.
It just all makes sense now, doesn't it?
It all just clicked into place.
That also explains why you keep giggling about that line in Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that was just funny because it was funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure, Andy.
So first of all, I just want to say how awkward it is to listen to this album with your children in the car now. Because we pushed this show back a week because Katherine and I were both sick. We would have recorded this a week ago.
And it was snowing.
Yeah. So we had that. But I was trying to, like, power through all of my album picks to make sure that, you know, I reacquainted myself with the albums and all this. Disintegration is not only a long album, but the songs are also super, super long. So whatever chance I had, when I wasn't trying to catch up on a podcast, you're welcome behind the Bastards of Musicals with Cheese, I was listening to these albums, and it's like, okay, I gotta drive Scarlett to band practice. Sure, I'll listen to Disintegration now. But I will say that this album, if you go listen to this and listen to the time it was made, it is nothing but like the most beautifully produced music of this era. It's like, it's very, very rich and very, very lavish. And as someone who, you know, as a, you know, a fan of bass guitar, very bass heavy. Like that, just the, you know, the pick against the strings type of bass. Yeah, no, obviously not. Now we've established that already, Joe. No, but like the pick sliding against the you know, with that thing, and it's like it's not a guitar heavy album; it's a bass heavy album, which is rare for rock up until like the '90s when Ned's Atomic Dustman had two bass players. Yeah, that's a deep cut.
That was wicked deep.
Go ahead, you're dying to say it.
Oh, the fact that we were... I can't remember what rehearsal we were leaving, but the girlfriend that you took to prom.
That was Stephanie Frawley.
She was in my class.
Right. We were done with shows, by the way, so if it wasn't her, it was someone else. But go ahead.
Well, but she was tagging along or something. She made a comment about the fact that you would crank the heat in your car when the the engine hadn't warmed up yet, because that way you could warm her up later.
That is totally not something I would have said, actually.
No, that's what she said.
Wow, she's a fucking liar then.
Either that or she was trying to be funny.
She may have been. Yeah, no, that is totally... I mean, I'm not saying that to, like, defend myself. I totally didn't say anything like that. And she doesn't listen to the show, so I don't feel like bleeping her name out. Wow. Wow, no, I'm not that clever. If I'm proven untrue, I'll totally retract, but still, that's... Wow. Wow. No, that wasn't me. Man.
I think maybe it was years... No, I can't remember.
She might have been fit to flights of fancy. I don't know. That's not my style.
Yeah.
Because again, not that clever.
Nope.
Well, we later had a foreign exchange student whose first name was Anders. She's like, it's close enough to Anders. I'll try for him. Or something like that.
Wow.
No, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Who's up next?
I'm getting my high school friends confused.
It's okay. It's late.
Sorry, I don't know any of them, so it's fine.
You don't know these two guys?
Vaguely.
You might deny our existence after tonight.
Oh, God, the
Katherine?
past. Yep. All right. Actually, yeah, Katherine, it's up. You're up.
All right. So, I'm also genre jumping like crazy. I wouldn't actually learn about this album for a couple more years after it came out.
I was blown away by the year this album was released.
Yeah, but this was very formative in my life when I learned about this in my senior year of high school. 9 Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine.
God, money's not looking for the cure. God, money's not concerned about the sick among the pure. God, money, let's go dancing on the backs of the bruised. God, money's not one to choose. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take that away from me.
album is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I love every track on this album. I wore this thing out. Like, someone loaned me the CD so we could put it onto a cassette. I wore the cassette out.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love this album so much. And I didn't even realize it came out in 89, because I remember it being big in 91 when I was in college.
Yeah, that was when I learned about it.
It's one of those things you don't realize how old some of these...
I think
like when you think like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I only know Red Hot Chili Peppers from the 90s.
Right, exactly. You forgot Mother's Milk came out, I think, this year, actually.
Right, exactly. The same thing with Nine Inch Nails.
Well, I'm always when we're looking for albums, I'm searching for albums that I actually know from the year. I'll be much better in the years coming up. But I was like, yes, I have this one.
I really truly love. This was one of the first ones I rebought on CD when I got a CD player. Mm-hmm. And it's funny too because I fashioned, I kind of thought of myself as being a big Nine Inch Nails fan, and all their other stuff is kind of dog shit compared to this album.
This album does stand out, and it was Trent Reznor upset with his one ex-girlfriend. This is the whole album.
Well, it's all him.
Yeah,
this is all him doing the album.
Yeah. When he toured, he had to get other musicians, but he does everything.
Right,
and that's pretty normal. I like his other,
I actually saw these guys live on the first Lollapalooza tour.
Oh, nice.
And with Trent and his backing band, which included the brother of Robert Patrick, which is whenever you see promotional stills from T2, Robert Patrick's wearing Nine Inch Nails shirts. Oh. Because his brother was a guitar player for them.
Nice.
But he was in the band. I don't know if he was exactly the guitar player. I mean, and this is just 10 fantastic songs.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at the remastered version right now with Get Down, Make Love is one of the songs on there. But I think Ring Finger is actually technically the last one on there. Something I Can Never Have.
Yeah. That is
gorgeous.
So good.
Such haunting piano in that.
Yep.
Sanctified. I mean, Kinda I Want To is probably the worst song on this entire album.
And it's still good.
Yeah, it feels like a dance song.
Yeah.
But not go in the basement club and, go push your emotions away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike's looking at us I don't know what you're talking about.
I've never heard this album before in my life.
Head Like a Hole. It's dark as your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Bow down before the one you serve. You're going to get what you deserve.
This is the album to listen to when you've had a terrible breakup.
Bad. Oh god, this was my 1998, 1999.
There may be a video floating around Facebook of me and my college friend Tony Bellacco lip syncing to this song on like one of those video make your own video thing.
Oh god. I
know it's there somewhere. I know we posted it. I will find it.
And delete it.
I probably won't delete it. I mean, I don't get embarrassed that easy. So you guys are aware.
Right.
Go ahead, Joe. You're up next.
All right, my next one. I'm not really doing a lot of general hopping here, but the Steel Wheels by the Rolling Stones.
Wow,
this album is known more for the tour, than the actual album. I mean, the album itself isn't bad, but the tour was such a big deal because it was their first road tour since I believe '81.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right about that.
And it was like the hardest ticket in the entire concert, world.
Well, it's the Rolling Stones. You didn't know how much longer they were going to be around.
Well, no,
I think this was the last album that Bill Wyman performed on.
Yes. Well, no, a lot of it was after Dirty Work came out, there really was a concern that the Stones were going to break up because Mick and Keith
fucking hated each other
to the bones. I mean, they were like just at each other's throat. But part of what made Steel Wheels a success was that tension. It was like a return to like classic Stones.
Yeah.
Where Keith and Mick were trying to one-up each other.
Right. And that's when the solo albums came out.
Yeah.
And...
Well, Keith's solo album was so much more successful than Mick's. Mick's solo album got panned totally by the critics.
Yeah, and
Keith
was actually excellent. I actually got that album.
So it was one of those things where Mick kind of like, well, can we do it one more time type of thing, because he didn't want to get overshadowed by Keith.
Right. Why would you? Yeah,
and again, it's all part of the renaissance of classic rock.
What were some of the songs on that album I really love? Mixed Emotions is a great song.
Between a Rock and a Hard Place.
Almost See You Smile. I love that song. That ended up on a lot of girls' mixtapes back in college.
Yes, it did.
So many mixtapes. So, yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, you're up next.
Okay. Going back to country.
All right.
Shocking.
This one's Clint Black's debut album called Killin' Time.
And the way it might have been without you here, I don't know if words for me can still upset you, but I've just got to make this memory stand clear. I know I'm leaving here a better man, knowing you this way. Things I couldn't do before, now I think I can, and I'm leaving here a better man.
Okay.
Clint Black, he's much more more straight country than
he's more
Brooks,
he's more a traditional country artist.
But it's still got that kind of rock pop feel to it. He's got like A Better Man, Nobody's Home. The two really big ones from this one are probably Walking Away and Killing Time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably between the two, I prefer Walking Away. I like some of his later albums a little bit more.
Yeah.
I really like Clint Black in general, but this is certainly not a bad album for him to kick off with.
Yeah, no, is this his debut album?
I believe so. Yes, it's
okay.
It is. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I think based on your comparison to country music, he is definitely more twang country than Garth Brooks is.
Yeah. Although he actually makes a cameo appearance in Maverick.
Yes, he does. That's right.
I believe he gets caught cheating on the riverboat and gets thrown overboard.
But I'm not an actor, I'm a singer! All right. Am I up next?
Yes,
you are.
Okay. So, next one, surprise, surprise. I talked about one of their albums last year. Going to go back to the well on this. Doolittle by the Pixies. This is the album, if you know anything about the Pixies, you know this album. This was the one that actually introduced me to the Pixies because this had the Debaser is like the big bass line song. Do 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 do, and everybody knows that. Everyone learns how to play that bass line at some point.
I don't.
Except for all of you guys. Okay.
Anybody that learned to play bass.
Anybody who learned how to play bass. We all learned how to play it. Awesome. But again, I mean, this is just that lo-fi alt-rock that I just adore. And this has got so many great songs on it. Monkey Gone to Heaven is... I was trying to pull up the title, the track list here. Monkey Gone to Heaven is just a fantastic song. It's about pollution, but just the imagery that they use. And like the lines about man is 5, God is 6, and the devil is 7. No. Man is 5, devil is 6, God is 7.
Yeah.
And then this monkey goes to heaven. Debaser, Wave of Mutilation's a fantastic song. Here Comes Your Man was like their big MTV hit. But, again, it just combines that fantastic, like late 60s surf guitar in hard rock. It's definitely worth it.
That's hard to pull off.
It is hard to pull off. The album is like 35 minutes long. So you could literally listen to it on your way home.
That's pretty quick.
All the songs are like 2.5 minutes long. Definitely worth your time. For the love of God, please go listen to it. That's all I have to say about that. Katherine.
Okay. Thanks, Mike, for throwing this one to me.
Calciprees.
This is one of his best albums, in my opinion. UHF by Weird Al.
It's one of his most diverse albums, because he's got a lot of things on this one.
I just really like some of the stuff that's on here. It's not all from the movie.
No.
It's,
right.
It's a lot of it is just original to this album.
Attack of the radioactive hamsters from a planet near Mars.
One of the things that we talked about in the previous
the eye creatures.
The previous episode where we talked about how you and I, Mike, know one song by Fine Young Cannibals better than any others because he did a version of She Drives Like Crazy.
She drives me crazy.
She drives like crazy. Ooh, ooh. Her car's a mess. Ooh, ooh.
Steve did mention that he doesn't think that Al actually has any regrets about any of the lyrics about Beverly Hillbillies.
No.
No.
Oh no. Oh, that's probably my favorite song on this.
They freaking got Mark Knopfler to do the guitar for it.
And I love generic blues.
Oh yeah. I love the story for getting Mark Knopfler to do that one. Though, it's like basically Weird Al goes to him and says, "I just want to do like a version of this song to Weird Al."
So he did the entire song.
And Mark's like, "Well, okay, I'll give you permission if I can do guitar for it." He's like, "Okay."
and Weird Al was like, he didn't play it exactly like he played it for Money for Nothing, but it's Mark Knopfler, so what am I going to do?
Right. It's his song. He's
going to take a different twist on it. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. An Isle Thing, we talked about that a little bit before.
Specialist City!
I got to see him Let Me Be Your Hog live when we saw his the Ill-Advised Vanity tour.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry,
which was great. Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota was one of my favorite songs until Albuquerque.
Yeah, they're both just like long, they just
weird,
go on and on.
Long, weird,
stream of consciousness,
rambling stories that you get sucked into, and it's just hilarious. But yeah.
I just love the jingle for Spatulicity.
Yeah.
Spatulicity. We see what Spatula is, and that's all.
I remember this one also had the parody of REM's Stand. Spam.
Which I prefer over Stand, actually.
Shut your poor mouth.
Gandhi 2.
Oh,
no more Mr. Passive Aggressive.
No more Mr. Passive Resistance.
Yeah,
Passive Aggressive is something totally different.
Oh, good God.
Now he's out to kick some butt.
I haven't watched this movie in forever, but we have our summer movie list to talk about later, so...
Maybe we can do a group viewing. I do have the Blu-ray signed by Weird Al now.
You know what?
Because I brought...
Guys, I think it goes without saying, of course you do.
Well, I had the DVD, and then he was coming to town, and we bought the tickets to see him and have anything signed, and I'm like, I'm going to buy the Blu-ray and get that signed.
Yeah.
I did.
As you would.
And then Amazon delivered it and put it right in front of my garage door, and I backed into my garage and ran over it. So I said, Amazon, send me a copy, and don't put it on my back, put it on the front stoop.
Yeah.
And they did, and so then I had an intact copy to have him sign.
Excellent. All right, Joe.
All right.
Last one.
So my last pick is... Phil Collins, But Seriously.
All this time I stayed out of sight. I started wondering why. Now I wish it would rain down on me. Ooh, yes, I wish it would rain down on me now. I wish it would rain down on me. Yes, I wish it would rain on me. You said you didn't need me in your life.
But seriously, Joe, is that really your last pick?
Yes, that is my last one.
Wait.
And actually, the only reason I picked it is because I love I Wish It Would Rain Down.
Is it but seriously, or is it but seriously?
No, you know what? But seriously, because there's 3 dots in front of it.
There's 3 dots.
Okay.
But no, this was actually his best-selling album up to that point, and I think it's really his best-selling album, period.
It is, because this was like this is his last real stab at album relevance.
Yes.
Before, like he would have bigger songs. He would win Oscars with those songs, much to South Park fans' chagrin. But seriously, yeah, it's just tough because I like Phil Collins. I know this is like the music hipster in me saying this. I like Phil Collins so much better when he was with Genesis. Even after this, they put out We Can't Dance, which, title track aside, is a fantastic album.
Yes, you're correct.
I like Genesis.
Thank you.
I like Genesis a lot.
I love Genesis. Phil Collins, on the solo end, can range between being too earnest or too silly.
Studio!
All right there, Eric Cartman.
Settle down. All right, so go ahead, Joe. Sorry, we're interrupting you in your moment of... All right, is that it?
That was it.
All right.
No, you know what?
This is very much the definition of I had one more one to pick out. Then I got your 5, and that's all I need.
Yeah, it wasn't Wikipedia trolling, okay?
You expect me to remember all of this? Come on, I got 2 kids and I work 60 hours a week. And I'm keeping up a damn good Twitter game right now. I'll have you.
You are. I will give you credit.
In Wago
you
right
are
now.
on fire on Twitter, man.
Thank you, Retro Geeky Retro Nerds, for helping me out with that. You're the best.
Our new followers.
Our new followers are awesome. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Yes. Jumping genre again to one that I'm sure everyone will be able to have something on say. Aerosmith, Pump.
Jenny got a gun. Jenny got a gun. Dog did just begun. Everybody is on the run. Tell me now it's untrue. What did her daddy do? He jacked a little bitty baby. The man has got to be insane. They say the spell that he was under, the lightning and the thunder knew that someone had to stop the
Their last good album.
Yeah.
This
Hands
is
down. I will
They're-
fight you if you disagree with me. This is their last great album.
I think I would actually say this is one of their best albums,
Yes.
if not their best.
I have drank half a bottle of Southern Comfort, and I'm on a beer right
And I
now,
think-
so yes.
But the thing is, when you put that up, I completely forgot this came out in '89 because I didn't start listening to it till like 90.
Yeah.
Fall of '90 was what really kind of started
when
getting big at school.
Yeah, when Love in an Elevator showed up, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
'Cause that still gets regular airplay.
This was the first album I bought that had the parental advisory sticker on it.
You're so dirty.
I am. But no, you know what? Looking back on it, this was such a raunchy album by late '80s, early '90s standards.
Look at this album cover right there.
It's a truck humping another truck.
It's a small truck humping a big
how
truck.
about the last lyric for FINE Fine?
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is?
No.
I'll shove my tongue between your cheeks. I hear your loving so tight. I hear you're so tight. Your loving squeaks.
Wow.
I mean,
and this is coming from a guy, Steven Tyler, not me, who pretty much forces 15-year-old live-in girlfriend to have an abortion. So,
Love in an Elevator, living it up while we're going down.
Yeah, it wasn't subtle, man.
You know,
but it's a good song,
well,
though.
Is like I always felt like "Love in an Elevator" is such a carryover from Permanent Vacation.
Right, and the thing about Permanent Vacation is like they were trying to cash in on the heavy metal, hair metal kind of trend of the time, which was so not them.
Well, it's interesting, too, because they got caught in between the boards, I think. It's like they aimed for one thing and hit something completely different, which was great because it was like, all right, well, this is where the oil is?
Well, the Pump really was kind of a return to form for them. That hard, classic blues-based rock.
But here's the thing, too. Honestly, and, fight me if I'm wrong on this. Janie's Got a Gun, instrumentally, is the best song they've ever recorded.
There's not a whole lot of instrumental in it, though.
It's not so much that. It's all of the. It's when you think about the song, the way it's produced. Just extract all of the lyrics. Extract all the lyrics and just think about the music in that song.
It's just the melody itself.
It's very dense
for
Aerosmith.
Especially when you look at the songs that surround Janie's Got a Gun.
Yeah.
Like, the other side is like the complete... that comes right after Janie's Got a Gun. Yeah. And it's just like 180 degrees.
Absolutely, because you get the horns in that one.
And Monkey on My Back.
Yep.
But, Janie's Got a Gun is a great song.
This album.
Yeah.
Which was the one that came after this one?
The Crying Crazy Amazing.
Yeah.
It may as well just be called Crying Crazy Amazing, Amazing Crazy Crying. Because all the songs sound alike, Crazy Crying Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I guess I'm left.
You are the last one.
Alright. I saved my favorite for last, actually.
I noticed that you kind of jumped around.
Shocking.
Jumped
Andy,
around,
shocking.
I know. My favorite album, 1989, because this was... Nobody else listened to this album. It was, oh my...
It's another album I've never heard of before. Wow.
Bob Mould Workbook. Now, on past year's shows, one of the stalwarts of my top 5 list was a band called Husker Du.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Also did the...
They also... Bob Mould's band Sugar did our original music.
Yeah. They
didn't write it for us specifically. We just stole it because, thieves. But this is Bob Mould's first solo album, and it's a 180 departure from the punk sound of Husker Du. This is very acoustic based, very guitar based, very singer-songwriter based. And there's just... I listened to this album. I'd seen him on an interview on MTV News. Yeah, MTV News. And
MTV Raps.
I was like, you know what? Shit, that's true. And I was like, I would like to listen to this album. I found it at Newbury Comics, because of course I did.
Yep.
And I bought it. And every track on here is just wonderful. I mean, Sunspots is an intro that's just acoustic guitar. Wishing Well is it's got a little bit of a hard edge to it. Heartbreak and Stranger ended up on a lot of girls' mixtapes. Because sure it did.
Because why not?
I'll put it on the inside, and apparently I'm going to turn it up to keep you warm. It totally wasn't me that said that.
Sure, Andy. We believe you.
Please believe me. I swear to God, it wasn't me. And then you get some other great stuff in here. Dreaming I Am, All the People Know. This is one of these albums you just have to pull up your Spotify or iTunes account, find it, and listen to it. However I describe it is not going to do it justice. It is, and especially Joe, you're a guitar fan.
Yeah.
And this isn't very much a blues-based
No, but I mean,
thing. This is rock guitar, but it is a fantastic album. And then next year we talk about Black Sheets of Rain because that's going to make the list. Is more of a return to form with the harder edge of what Bob Mould was doing. Fantastic album. I tried in my haste to try to get people to listen to it. Nobody really listened to it in high school, so I was right. You were wrong. What can I say?
You're still the only person who's heard of it, so good
yeah, exactly. So you guys all like, I put this list out a week ago. They're like, yeah. Yep. So that is 1989, guys. Oh my God, 90s.
Say farewell to the 80s, boys.
I'd say I'd miss you, but 90 is coming up next year, and it's a shit show going forward. Yeah. Wait till you get. No, wait. We haven't covered the top number one hits of 1990.
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
Fuck off. Fuck the hell off.
Oh God.
All right. Next episode. I've been drinking, so I tried to be funny.
Andy, we've been drinking too, okay?
I know.
Not just as much as that.
It's funny too.
But we're not putting away SoCo. So.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I'm hosting, so I have to drive. So, yay, go me. All right, so we are going to do a task that we've been meaning to do for, God, Mike, what, 10 years?
Let's
say 9. Let's just say 9.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a Star Trek episode.
It's been 10 fucking years since we've done a Star Trek episode. It was episode 4.
Yeah.
We're doing 174 right now, so it's been a while. So next episode, we are going to take all 14 theatrically released Star Trek movies and Galaxy Quest, because, let's be honest, it's a better Star Trek movie than most Star Trek movies, and we're going to rank them with your help.
Yes, we are.
So what we're going to do is you can pick anything from Star Trek the Motion Picture all the way to Star Trek Beyond and Galaxy Quest, and rank them in your order of choice. We will then tabulate those votes, and we will let you guys know what the results are on our next episode. So it should be an interesting conversation, because it means I'm finally going to have to watch Nemesis and Insurrection.
Jeez, Andy.
You have to watch Tom Hardy in a Star Trek movie, and not one of the good ones.
I've seen Nemesis. I never saw Insurrection.
Can't remember. If
I've
I've seen Insurrection.
Insurrection is the one with F. Murray Abraham.
I know I've seen it. I just can't remember it.
You blocked it.
Nemesis is the movie debut of Tom Hardy, isn't it?
Nemesis is, yeah.
Yes.
No, I've seen
It's
Nemesis.
not the movie debut, but maybe his American movie debut.
I believe I saw that one in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so that
That
is...
explains why I never saw Insurrection.
God, I'm depressed now. Maybe this is a bad idea. No, actually, it'll be hilarious because we'll get it out of the way early. Spoiler alert, it's going to get out of the way early. So, yeah, we want to hear from you. So we'll list out all the qualifying movies on our Facebook page, which is Geek Salad Podcast, our Twitter feed at Geek Salad Radio, and you can let us know. You can also feel free to email us at geeksaladradio@gmail.com if you just want to send us that list that way, so that damn character, the character limit doesn't come up into play. You can also listen to all our episodes at geeksalad.podbean.com. We're also available on the Podbean app, the Stitcher app, the Spotify app, and the Google Music app. Almost got through it this time.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And you can subscribe to us there, so please listen. Also, special thanks to everybody who kind of followed us in the last couple of weeks on our Twitter feed.
Yay!
Which has been fantastic. Hopefully we garnered some new listens on there. Don't forget also to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Geek Salad Podcast, where we have exclusive content every week about movie reviews, top 10 lists, discussions about side conversations on episodes that we're doing, like Katherine, Mike, and I last week hosted our favorite Muppet movie songs.
Muppet movie music.
No.
Alliteration.
Music of Muppet movies.
Music of Muppet movies.
Moopies.
Booyah!
There we go.
The Muppets were something else.
Exactly. Dave Grohl was in the Muppets.
He was.
He should have been the halftime show.
He should.
Foo Fighters.
Don't get me
The
started.
Muppets should have been the...
We can talk about that
The
off
Foo
air.
Fighters and the Muppets.
We can talk about that off air. So, anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
I'm Katherine.
Go forth, be nerdful, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, and I've learned something too. Robert Smith kicks ass.